PM takes firm stand against Maxi-Taxi fare increases. Challenges opposition critics. Persad Bissessar warns operators against exploiting modest PBR fee adjustment to burden commuters. Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissessar has issued a stern warning to priority bus route (PBR) maxi-taxi operators, signaling she'll take decisive action if they attempt to increase fares and burden the commuting public following a modest adjustment to permit fees. The Prime Minister also continued her sharp criticism of opposition leader Penelope Beckles, who held a news conference yesterday claiming that new road traffic fines and increased PBR permit fees will force citizens to pay more and face economic hardship. The fee increase, $3 per day after 37 years. From January 1, 2026, maxi-taxi operators will be required to pay higher permit fees under Legal Notice Number 475, issued under the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act. The quarterly toll for maxi-taxis operating on the PBR increases from $300 to $600, the first increase in 37 years. In response to questions from the Express yesterday, Prime Minister Persad Bissessar put the increase in perspective, noting it amounts to just $3 more per day. They have been paying $3 per day for 37 years. Maxi-taxi drivers will now have to pay $6 per day to use the bus route. That's the price of a small Coca-Cola, the Prime Minister stated. I can't see why they would want to raise prices, because currently it costs tens of millions to maintain and operate the bus route, which is subsidized with taxpayers' money. Taxpayer subsidy and alternative options. The Prime Minister emphasized that taxpayers currently subsidize the substantial costs to maintain road markings, traffic lights, road surfaces, drainage, street lighting, city gate facilities, security, and the PBR operational unit. Taxpayers are subsidizing all of these costs while operators pay a minimal fee for exclusive access to dedicated infrastructure, she explained. I may be willing to give the Maxi-Taxi Association total control of the entire bus route if they are willing to take over all the costs. Prime Minister Persad Bissessar also floated another option, opening the bus route to the wider public. They currently pay $3 a day and are now required to pay $6 a day. Why would they need to raise fares to cover $3 more per day? She challenged. Maybe it's time to open the bus route to everyone, and that way, the maxi-taxis can operate without any fee. I would be willing to take this measure if they want. Doubles eating penny. Opposition leaders' budget debate absence. Prime Minister Persad Bissessar sharply criticized opposition leader Beckles, who had accused the government of shutting down the budget debate and imposing secret fiscal measures. The budget debate was not shut down in the House. Beckles left the opposition bench in the House chamber to go for doubles in the tea room during the budget debate, the Prime Minister stated. Her bench was left without guidance while she was feasting on doubles with slight pepper, cucumber, and no sweet sauce in the tea room, so none of the PNM MPs stood to contribute. Therefore, the debate was wound up. She encouraged members of the public to go look at the budget debate and see for themselves that she absconded from the budget debate in pursuit of doubles. Responding to PNM Corporation allocation claims. Opposition leader Beckles yesterday criticized the government for allegedly slashing allocations to People's National Movement, PNM, run regional corporations, and challenged the Prime Minister's statements that several PNM corporations and constituencies remain riddled with crime and garbage. However, Prime Minister Persad Bissessar fired back decisively, insisting that PNM corporations actually received the highest allocations, even more than United National Congress, UNC, controlled corporations. They used the money for fading, fireworks, buying rum for parties and parades instead of picking up garbage and maintaining the physical space, she charged. The PNM corporations are operated with a fete culture. They find money for weeks of fetes and parties, but can't find any to keep their supporters' spaces clean. Instead of whining and drinking in the streets, they should try cleaning them up. The Bentham sewage crisis. PNM's treatment of own supporters. The Prime Minister delivered particularly harsh criticism of how the PNM treated their own most loyal supporters during their decade in power. The PNM MPs can't even uplift their own hardcore constituencies. Why would anyone in non-PNM constituencies want any advice from them, she stated. The PNM had their own most loyal supporters in the Bentham living for years in a health hazard by never repairing the sewers. They literally let sewage and human feces flow through the Bentham streets and drains for years while the residents, elderly and children suffered. The PNM are hateful to their own supporters. Life is better under UNC governance. Prime Minister Persad Bissessar insisted that, contrary to the opposition's claims, life has measurably improved under the UNC-led administration compared to the former PNM government. She cited concrete achievements. Crime reduction. Murders are down by approximately 240, with significant reductions in serious crimes overall. Workers' compensation. Government delivered the promised 10% increase for Public Services Association, PSA, workers. Economic planning. Launched comprehensive revitalization blueprint to diversify the economy. Anti-corruption. Ended gang financing through CPEP and URP. Crime-fighting legislation. Passed key laws including the Stand Your Ground legislation. Education. Schools repaired and laptops distributed to children. Healthcare. Services expanded, including opening of Kuva Children's Hospital. I know people are better off, the Prime Minister declared. Yes, we have made progress. People are safer, and we have begun setting the foundations for economic revitalization. There is always room for improvement, and we will work harder next year. Leadership for law-abiding citizens, not popularity. Prime Minister Persad Bissessar concluded with a clear statement of her governance philosophy and priorities. As I said before, some people say they want change, but what they really want is exchange, where they become the new beneficiaries of the corruption and disorder, she stated. I will run the country to the benefit of law-abiding citizens. I will work to the benefit of the good citizens who get up every day and do the right thing by following the law despite the behavior of entitled and undisciplined individuals. She emphasized her commitment extends beyond electoral politics. I'm working for the benefit of the citizens and future generations. I am not engaging in a popularity contest to win elections while the country becomes a bigger lawless dump.